Hi, I'm Daphne from Daps Makeup, and I'm here to give you the tea on luxury makeup. And today we're going to talk about Victoria Beckham's new eyewear. She's got new eyeliners. Now, her OG eyeliners are the satin kajal eyeliners, which these are my favorite. I love them so much, I have 9 of them. And if she comes out with any more shades, I'll probably buy more. That's how much I love these. So, of course, when she came out with new ones, I couldn't wait to try the new formula. So I bought 2. I figured I'd get one color that I knew that I would love and use over and over again a million times. And then I also wanted to try a color that would be unique to my collection. So the 2 shades that I got is Bottle Green. This is a shade, this is an olive green, and I love olive green. I use this kind of tone of color all the time, so I was excited to get this one. But the color that I don't use that often, yellow is not a shade that I normally use a lot when it comes to eye makeup. But for some reason, I just really wanted to get this sunflower shade. So these are the 2 shades. Of course, that is what is on my eyes. So I got sunflower on the lid and then bottle green on the lower lash line and also on the outer V. And actually this is also in my transition. I was able to blend it out. So let's talk about these eyewear. All right. So if you follow me on Instagram, daps_makeup, you would have actually already seen my swatches, but I will do it live for you here. So let's start with bottled green. So that is bottle green, so beautiful olive shade, deep olive shade. And sunflower is a sunflower yellow. So they apply beautifully, easy to glide on. Now in comparison to the satin kajal liners, I have the shade olive, and I'm going to put that next to bottle green. And actually I put that on thick. Actually, let me just do one line just so you can see. So as you can see in terms of thickness, the difference between the new eyewear versus the old kajal liners. So these are definitely thicker. In terms of these 2 shades, since they're the closest in shade, funny enough, the shade olive is not olive. It's actually an evergreen. This bottled green shade, that's actually more of an olive. Don't ask me, about the shade names, but there you go in terms of comparison. Now, what I love so much about Victoria Beckham eyeliners is that they glide so easily. They're great pigmentation, and they last. They really do last all day long. I had swiped the 2 green, the new and old eyeliners earlier. So once you let them set for a while, I'll just show you, like, they don't budge. They don't smudge, they don't budge. And so that's why I love them so much. And so this still applies even with the new eyewear. It seems both for the, just like the kajal liners, if using on the lower lash line, they're gonna stay. Now, in terms of using them as eyeshadow, now with the kajal eyeliners, I've always just used them as a traditional eyeliner, lower lash line, even on the lid, but I've never actually used it as eyeshadow. But with these, it felt like it was conducive to using them as actual eyeshadow. So what I did was I actually did use the yellow shade Sunflower on the lid and also as my transition shade in my crease. So what's great is that you can apply it, take an eyeshadow brush, and you can actually blend out the shade, so you can sheer it out in your crease, but then you can also lay it on thick on the lids and just pat it down. I'm going to show you video of me quickly applying the eyeshadow look that I did earlier today. Okay, so I'm going in with the first shade, Sunflower, and I'm going directly on the lid. And I can also take it into the crease, as you see. I'm going to take a brush to diffuse and blend that shade I'm doing little bits at a time because you only have a few minutes to work with it before it sets. So it's best not to try to do it all at once. So take your time, do bit by bit. On the lid, I want it to be more pigmented. So I'm applying more and then I'm using my finger just to pat it in. Versus in the crease, I want it more diffuse. So I use a brush because I want to create a gradient with this color. I know it looks messy now, but I'll clean it up later. I'm just showing you the initial application. I'm also putting the shade in the inner corner as well. So just take your time with this. And pat, blend, blend. Now I'm going in with the second shade, Bottle Green, and I'm using this as a traditional eyeliner on the lower lash line. I'm also using it in the outer V. And I'm taking my finger to blend it. So just taking my time. You can use a small definer brush to get a cleaner edge. So these work well with your fingers, with your brushes. It's just you got to work quickly and do little bits at a time so that you can achieve the look that you want. And just blend, blend, blend. Take your time. How do I feel about them as eyeshadow and how do I compare them to a regular eyeshadow? I love the look that I did today. Now, will I forego normal eyeshadow for these? Slow down. So what I say is, when you're applying, you have a few moments time that you can work with it. So whether using your finger or brush, you can try to blend it out. But then eventually, quickly, it will set down. So you don't have a lot of time to work with it. But it's a good and bad thing. But even if it's kind of already set down and you're like, oh, it's looking a little patchy, you can apply more and then once again blend it out. So I did work with it to come up with this look. Now, in terms of longevity, I've had this eye look on for about 6 hours. I've got hooded eyes. So normally when I wear eyeshadow, I use eyeshadow primer because of creasing. Now, when I did this eye look, I did not use any eyeshadow primer. So I'm going to come in close so you can take a look. And you can see, hopefully you can see, there is some creasing going on. And this is what would happen with me with a regular eyeshadow if I didn't use eyeshadow primer. Now, I don't know how an eyeshadow primer would mix with this formula, if I could do the same. So that's the only concern about in terms of longevity as an eyeshadow, particularly if you have hooded eyes specifically. So, if I just want a quick look and I don't have I just want to run out the door and it's not my long work day, I wouldn't mind using this as eyeshadow. But for my long work days, I probably would stick to a traditional eyeshadow with eyeshadow primer. But I have not had any budging or any issues with me using it as an eyeliner on the lower lash line. And what I do appreciate about these in comparative to the Kajal liners that I love so much is that I love a smoky lower lash line. And so normally with the Kajal liner, not that I minded, but I would use the one end to first apply the liner, the pigment, and then I would use the other sponge tip side, and then I would use that to smudge it out, which is cool. But then at the same time, if you have one of these, because it's already so big, in one swipe, I'm already smudged out. I don't need any brush. So that's kind of nice, and like how I was able to kind of quickly, do an outer V. So I love that aspect of these. Where the Kajal liners, I still love these because of the precision. So not only on the lower lash line, but if I want to use it as liner on my lid, I can be precise, and you can use a pencil to, of course, sharpen it. So there's pros and cons of both, and I feel that there is a role for both. So I'm actually happy to have both in my collection. I have no regrets about getting them. Like I said, we'll see how much I use them going forward as eyeshadow, but as eyeliners, they will be used both frequently in my eyeshadow makeup routine. And I'm also excited to see how these would work as a base with my other eyeshadows. because even though I mentioned I don't really do yellow eyeshadow, I actually bought a new eyeshadow quad that has a yellow shade to it. I'll give you a sneak peek. It's from Suku. And I think that this will pair great as a base with that. So be on the lookout for my future video on the eyeshadows from the new collection, the pre-summer collection. As always, follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm the most active. You'll see swatches, comparison, makeup of the day looks on there. So Daps_makeup. Continue to follow me here to actually hear my full review. So if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you so much for following me on my makeup journey. And I'll see you next time. Bye.